brother.
How's it, the Robert family today? Good evening. How's Jean Paul the Egg? I know we're having it's a kind of cold tonight, but we're back. We wanted to cover a little bit of more news, something that is going on in the wrestling world, and we did Starrcade. Starrcade just took place a few minutes ago, and we just review it. I hope all of you are doing great. I know that like we all have to go back to work, so that kind of sucks for all of us. Where we live, we're gonna have some snow, so let's hope it's not too much. So Jean Paul, let's get right to it.
Yep, let's jump right in. So the first thing we see, which they told us, before the show started, that Kevin Owens was going to have Ric Flair be his guest on the KO show. And before I actually get into this first segment, to to use the name Starrcade on a show like this is kind of disrespectful in a way, won't you say? So because this was essentially like a house show. If this was just called like Atlanta, Georgia house show, and I went here and paid $25, $30, whatever, saw this, I'd be completely fine. But to be like, oh, this is Starrcade, and then we see this, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't like this. Really isn't Starrcade. You're kind of shitting on Starrcade's name, but you know how WWE is with the stuff that they didn't really create. And it almost seems, if you look at a lot of things they do, they kind of shit on Dusty Rhodes in a lot of ways. And he created Starrcade.
Yeah,
Or, so.
I agree with you. I feel that they just try to sell tickets by using the name Starrcade,
Oh, for
and
sure.
it is really really sad and lame that they use the name of Starrcade, knowing the history, like 31 years, like Ric Flair was
Hmm.
saying, of really great pay-per-views. A lot of good stars came out of those. Dusty became a big name. Ric Flair, Sting, WCW's marquee pay-per-view was Starrcade.
Yeah.
So the fact that they used that for I wouldn't even say a glorified house show because we couldn't even see anything. It was just an hour.
Yeah,
So it
that's
was,
what I mean. This was like literally just a house show. It wasn't anything like a super show because the biggest name on here besides Ric Flair, which I'm gonna not count him, but I'm gonna count active roster. The biggest name was Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens for the men, and then you will say Becky Lynch and Charlotte for the women,
Yeah,
if you want to include them. But yeah,
yeah. Yeah,
we're
of
reviewing
course.
it because we love the family that
Yeah.
much, and we are gonna always keep to our promise to always cover every single major thing. And this is something semi big, but we're saying that it's not doing justice what the tradition of Starcade should be.
Yeah, so Ric Flair, he comes out and he thanks all the young talent in the back. He said that they're great and going to be future stars, just like all the past stars that competed at Starrcade. And he mentions, the Dusty Rhodes, Harley Race, Sting, and he says he wants to give all those guys props, and he thanks all of them because without them he wouldn't be. And then he goes into the wheeling and dealing, kiss stealing, limousine riding. He goes
Son
into
of a
his whole
gun, and
his
yeah,
whole shtick, and he still got it. Like his promo, for his age, is still pretty good, I would
he's
say.
yeah pretty eloquent, like you said. Yeah, he also mentioned Roman because Roman on SmackDown
Oh, yep, yep.
is on our channel. So please watch it. We have lots of content. So please just refer to our channel. We have every single show covered for you. Roman always says that he thanked the family. We thank our Rubric family. Then he thanked
Always.
the fans. He thanks like his own the people the backstage and everything. So he was doing the same thing like you said. And right away, the OC comes out. The best tag team in the world.
Yep, the OC, they come out. They interrupt because Ric Flair, he gives the woo, and then Kevin Owens, Ric Flair says that KO's got to do one with him, and then he said, well, we're all gonna do one. Him, the fans, and Rick. And right when they're about to do the woo, the OC comes out, and they call out Kevin Owens, but Kevin Owens is, he's so great on the mic, he just fires right back on these guys. They're kind of shooting back and forth, and then the Street Profits, they come out to kind of even the odds, and they have, I guess, sort of an ongoing feud on Monday Night Raw. They like
With
touch
the
on
OC,
it.
yeah, because
Yeah,
remember
and it's
when they
yeah, well,
debuted it, they went against the OC.
yeah, but it's not really like a feud because everybody kind of, I feel like, just runs through the OC. It's like they're like the best tag. I feel like that's a joke They made
He's
them
like,
the
yeah.
best tag team in the world, and then they always lose. So it's like a joke. I feel
It's
like
the
that was just
ongoing joke. Is
yeah,
yeah, it's the ongoing joke. It's like, oh yeah, like we're the best tag team in the world, but you always lose.
yeah,
It's like a Tommy Dreamer, but without being Tommy Dreamer,
yeah, but
and they
without
always
being
lose and all of that.
but without the fans actually giving a shit about
Without the
them.
fans
Yeah.
liking you, yes. And
So
yeah, go
this
ahead.
this match wasn't announced or anything. It was kind of an impromptu match, and like I said, this is a feud we see on Monday Night Raw, and I don't think it was really anything different than what we seen on Raw. It was an okay match. What do you think? I have some notes here. I can go
Well,
through
yeah,
them. But
like the
what's
match
your
itself is,
opinion?
these two teams are like decent enough to put something. So they went at it. The action was pretty decent. Montez Ford, Gallows Anderson, they know what they're doing in the ring.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, like you said, they didn't just. This is a house show, so we gotta remember that first and foremost because it
mm,
doesn't matter. I want to reiterate what you just mentioned, like the fact that they use Starrcade to promote this show is not even doing any justice. So in a house show, you have more freedom, you have more liberty to do things outside of the box, and maybe that's what they did. It was just a regular match.
yeah,
Of course,
because
the faces won. Give me some notes.
yeah,
Take me
because
through some spots.
like you said, it's definitely a house show feel. Because early on, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, they took control early on, and you could just tell like they were having fun in this match. It wasn't like to them, it didn't seem like it was a serious, competitive sport like it would be on a Monday Night Raw or on
It's not
NXT.
the same vibe.
Yeah,
Yes, it's not the
yeah,
same
they
vibe.
were
You don't
they were
have to.
like
That's
they
not
were
the pressure.
yeah, they were doing the strut and the Ric Flair strut and all that. But then Gallows and Anderson, they took over and they had more of a serious vibe in the match, trying to portray more of the heels. Um, they fight back and forth. Ford tries to tag in Dawkins. There was a moment where he's like pulling and stretching, and Anderson's pulling him back, and then he swings Ford into their corner. Gallows tags in, and then Ford counters with an enziguri, which was a good spot. So there was some, like you said, there was some competitive spots. All four of these guys are good, but in the end, they tried for the Magic Killer. That
Yeah,
attempt
well,
was countered.
Anderson does a beautiful spine buster. I want to say
Oh
that
yeah,
it's a very nice, and that was for a near fall. And then, like you said, they take us through the Magic Killer
yep.
attempt, and then what happens?
And then they break that up, and then Ford sends Gallows to the outside, and then Dawkins hits a spine buster on Anderson, and then Ford hits the frog splash for the win.
Yeah,
So, like you said, the faces they win this match, and then afterwards, Ric Flair he comes into the ring with them, and they have like a
and
feel
they did
good
the moves.
moment.
They did like
Yep, yep.
woo. They did all
They,
of that, and of
yeah,
course,
they
like
did the Ric Flair where he does like the elbow drop on the mat, and
Montez Ford did the elbow drop on the mat, and then
yep,
we're
the knee
having
drop.
fun. And then,
Yep.
of course, you do that to get the crowd kind of going because this is like kind of like a very. I think there's more matches than what they're actually like only were able to broadcast in the network.
Yeah.
But I think they only gave us an hour. Which, see, for me, I still don't understand what's the point of just give an hour when you could actually do the whole show. You
Yeah,
know,
I would rather see a show and they give us like good matches and they just do like a super showdown or a crown jewel thing. I mean, what I would honestly rather see the most is they work Starcade into the pay-per-view calendar.
yeah, like
You
make
have
it
it
a
be
serious pay
opposite
per view.
have it be the opposite of Mania. So like WrestleMania is always in April and then you could have this be 6 months later. So it's like, on each end of the
In the
in
calendar
between.
year, you
Yeah, in the
have something
calendar
that
year.
you look forward
Yeah.
to. It's like a series pay per view, and even it can be as serious as the Survivor Series was. See,
Yeah,
that's a
that's what
great
I mean.
idea.
You really need to build it like that. But if you're not going to do that, at least make it a show like Crown Jewel where you have a bunch of big matches and they don't need to mean anything storyline wise, but at least have it like AJ Styles versus, I don't know, Drew
Even Rey
McIntyre.
Mysterio, you
Yeah,
can
something
have
like
him on a
that.
rematch.
Yeah,
You
or
can have
do
a
that.
rematch for the
Yeah,
U.S. title. You
or
can
do
do
that
that.
rematch or AJ Styles versus Andrade because I don't think we've really seen them
We
wrestle.
never seen that
You know,
before. Yeah,
unless they're
like
saving that for a big feud. But that's what I mean. Just give us quality matches instead of just 3, 4 matches that
and you
really
just like
bore me.
give an hour, and that's
Yeah.
the same thing that you've been doing for 2 years in a row. Not even
Mhm.
counting like 3 years in a row that like they had the whole house show. They didn't even broadcast it on the network. It was
Yeah.
just they kept it as a house show with the name Starrcade. Which to me, once again, it does, if you're gonna use that name, use it seriously.
Hmm.
Pay homage to those that put that name on the map. So, like
Yeah,
I
I
said, I agree
agree.
with you. They should do something more relevant when it comes to that. Let's talk about two issues that appear during this whole thing. Well, the first thing is like for the ones that you don't know, WWE was yesterday in Mexico, and then they did have a super showdown. They had Raw, they had Smackdown, and then they have tons of matches. Like
Hmm.
Jean Paul was saying, they had Andrade against Aleister Black. Aleister Black got the win. They had Cain Velasquez teaming up with Humberto Carrillo against the OC. And what happened? They lost again. They got Seth Rollins against Aaron Rowan. Seth Rollins won. Roman Reigns against Baron Corbin. Roman Reigns won. So, for example, give me that. I remember you telling me I will much
Yeah.
rather see that
Yeah.
rather than just an hour of this
Yeah, that's
because
what I
they did
mean. Yeah.
have. We're going to mention something a little later, but yeah, I would much rather see that because the vibe or the Mexican crowd was so much into it.
Hmm.
And like you said, they have a match that probably will never be broadcasted. They had the Fiend Bray Wyatt in a cage match against Rey Mysterio for the Universal title.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts about that? Like like they should really move those kind of things on the network so we can actually we feel more invested in tuning in.
Not just that, like you said, if you don't want to put all those house shows on the network because then no one will go to your house show, I understand that. But to get into what you said to save earlier, just to say it now, and they took this match, the women's tag team match was the same match at this, super show that they put on in Mexico. So if you're going to already take one match from Mexico and they probably worked the same spots, I wouldn't even doubt if the finish was exactly the same. If you're going to repeat that match, why not just repeat that whole card here, or
Exactly, like the main
minus a
matches
match,
that the
or
main
switch
matches
it
that they.
up. Yeah, like switch maybe a match up here or there. Make one of the single or two of the singles matches, maybe make into one tag team match. Switch it up, but at least give us the same thing, the same feel. Like a Starrcade should have, a champion on besides just the women's tag team champions, because the two main women's titles were there, but they weren't being defended.
Oh yeah, no, and see, I
So
agree with you. Like they should have something like they did in Mexico, like a big,
mm,
Starcade is always a big name, so they
yeah.
should have something in, that actually delivers like the name. You should have
Mm.
something that like is in sync with the name. But then the show goes on commercial, and then we had a thing with Bayley. She was cutting a promo, but then let me just I want you to hear your thoughts about that. A lot of people were having issues with the network, and I remember texting you. I said my I lost signal, and you were like you didn't know what happened, but then they had to put the whole thing on YouTube. I don't know if you know that.
Oh no. So I was watching it. I know sometimes I don't know if a lot of people watch it. I would assume on their gaming systems, on the PlayStation or Xbox. I was actually watching it on my computer, and in the past I know that the website has a better like more secure connection than like those, like the gaming devices. So I didn't have an issue, but I did see the article and stuff you sent me how a lot of people were having the outages, during this segment. But essentially, Bayley and Sasha, they were just kind of like shitting on the town. They're like, oh, we don't want to be here in Atlanta, Georgia. Like, we don't even want to be at Starrcade. They said that the women's division needs them, or WWE needs them to go back into the tag team division to make it relevant again. And they just really seemed uninterested in this, like being in this match, and they were more worried about partying after the match and what they were going to eat and like where they were going to go and what they were going to do. So they're just kind of like, portraying their like heel, like, oh,
The
we don't
heel
give
is
a
like, yeah,
shit.
if
Yeah.
we don't win, we don't win. I'm like, well, it seems that they need us to make those titles relevant
Yeah.
again. That was
Yeah.
the aura that I got. So
Yeah.
we had a fatal four way. We had Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross coming back. Of course, she
Mm.
came back during SmackDown, and then we have Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. My thing to you is like, why are they attacking?
Just, well, they're pretty much, I think they're doing this to, they feel Becky still, she's still hot. She's the number one woman. And I feel she is, in the sense that she's the Raw Women's Champion, but her momentum's definitely dying down. But the whole women's division as a whole, the momentum is dying down, because I feel now more than ever, and everybody's seeing how good NXT is. So everybody's just like focusing on that division, and that division's hotter than ever. Especially, Rhea Ripley. She had the best weekend, I think, in professional wrestling that anyone could ever have.
No, yeah,
But
yeah, absolutely.
so so I think they're just pairing her with Becky to try to get her, built back up, to try to make Charlotte look more relevant. Like, why did you take Roman Reigns and put him with Seth Rollins when Seth Rollins was having that great IC championship run, and then Seth got lost behind Roman, and nobody even, nobody cared. So
And
I
see,
think
that's a
I think
great point that you're making.
yeah, that's what I think that they're doing with this. Two things that I noted during the entrances when all these teams were coming out. I like how Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, their gear actually matches, like the colors. It
Yep,
wasn't like Nikki just wears her black pants and her blue top, and then
the
Alexa
best.
Bliss
Yeah,
is
like a
yeah,
vest
her
that I think
best.
she wears. Yeah,
Yeah, and then Alexa Bliss is wearing her like pink and green and whatever colors. Like both of them had this like matching colors. They
black and
still
green.
wore
Yeah,
their own outfits, but the colors were matching, which I like because if you're gonna have them be in the tag team division, which I think I'd like to see Nikki on a singles role, but I wouldn't like to see Alexa in a singles role just because I feel 5 championship reigns is enough. I know that's probably daggers to your heart, but that's enough for me.
you
Um,
just have killed my soul. I think I'm gonna
well,
cut broadcast
anyway,
right now. No, I'm kidding.
well,
I actually,
anyway,
when it
then
comes
then
to that,
I'll be one man gang.
I I agree with you because see, something that I wanna mention, and probably you will notice, she's very. Before we used to say she's limited. Now she's even more limited than what she was before, because I think the injuries that like she's been having through the years have limited even more and more. So I
Are
feel
you
that
talking
like
Alexa Bliss?
Alexa Bliss, yeah, her
Yeah,
career is gonna be over pretty soon. You know,
yeah,
it's
I think so.
because I think that that's why they keep her in this role of a tag team, because she doesn't have to carry a whole load of matches and everything. Because before
Mm.
she used to do a little more. I'm not
Yeah,
saying, oh my gosh, she was like Sasha Banks. She wasn't an Asuka. She wasn't. She was never in that league.
yeah,
But like she could do little things, and I think portray them in decent. She could perform the moves well. But now, she just focuses on doing punches. She just does her roll up, and then not even a moonsault, but she does that move, the signature that she does, and then the DDT, and
yeah,
that's it. And that one that runs, stops, and then slaps. So to me,
yeah.
it's like she's only those moves, and then she has to tag somebody. So I feel that like as her career keeps moving forward, I think her role as a wrestler is gonna start like diminishing as the months go by.
Yeah, and that's fine with me, to be honest with you. And then
It's
then
not
we
fine
get
with me, but okay.
then we get the Kabuki Warriors, and they got a new theme. I think the theme sounds badass. I like it.
The,
I
the,
think it
the,
fits them, and it's a hell of a lot better than their two themes just mashed together, which sounds something like a
exactly,
10-year-old did at his first editing program. Like
exactly.
this theme sounds so much better. And
It gave me the vibe. Jean Paul gave me the vibe. That like they're like Kabuki warriors. They gave me the
yeah,
vibe that like they're warriors. They're gonna go to like like the old ninja style, the
yeah,
old
yeah.
samurai. Yeah, I really
No, I
appreciate
agree.
that because you're right. I hate when they merge the theme songs together. The
Hmm.
only time that worked was Kane and the Undertaker. And I've
Oh
said
yeah,
this
because
before.
both their
That was the
themes
only time.
they had the same sound and feel, so it
Yes.
made sense then. Like,
Yes. Yeah.
yeah.
Then keep us going through the match.
But I mean, this match, it was all over the place. If I'm reading through my notes here, Kyrie and Nikki, they start the match, and they kind of just like taunt each other back and forth. And then there's a lot of quick tags in. Bayley and Charlotte tag in. Asuka tags in. And then Flair, she starts working over Asuka. She takes out Kyrie as well on the apron. Follow a slam on Asuka, and then Sasha tags in off Charlotte. Asuka fights back, but Nikki tags in off of Asuka. So just a lot of back and forth. People are tagging in. I mean, towards the end of this thing here, everybody just starts coming in and hitting each other with their moves. I know Charlotte hit a double spear on the Kabuki Warriors, which looked
Yep.
pretty, which was a weak looking spot, but because of how weak the spear was, the Kabuki Warriors were both able to come back in, and because
Well, also
Nikki,
saying
yeah,
did
oh,
the
go
she
ahead.
hit the insane elbow too, right?
Yeah, yeah. Kyrie hit. That was actually right before that. Kyrie hit the insane elbow because, like I said, everybody was coming in and hitting moves on each other. Kyrie hit the insane elbow, and then Asuka was in the ring, and Becky rolled out, and then Asuka, she kind of like helps Kyrie up, and then that's when they eat the double spear from Charlotte, and Nikki tagged in Charlotte before that happened, I believe, or Asuka and Charlotte were fighting. Something was happening, but Charlotte got tagged in soon, or tagged out soon after that, and then
And then
Bayley,
Asuka grabbed. It was
yeah,
Nikki and Asuka.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was
and then
Nikki and
yep,
Asuka.
and then she got the Asuka lock on Nikki
The
for the
Asuka lock
win,
on Nikki, and then tap out for the win, and the Kabuki Warriors retain the
which
championship.
which I think all of us knew that they were going to retain the championship because it wouldn't have made any sense for any of these teams to win right now, especially you wouldn't give it right back to Nikki uh
And Alexa.
and Alexa
You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that.
because it doesn't make sense like storyline. They're not really involved in anything at least yet, and also like we said with Alexa, we don't know how much she can really do, and why would you give them the championships just to make them, obscure and forgotten about again when they're finally being brought in, into prominence at least a little bit with the Kabuki Warriors, and also to keep on the Alexa Bliss. I noticed she only took two, at least that I saw, two big spots. She took a backhand from Kyrie, which it might have been the camera angle, which made it look a little. No, I'm not going to say brutal, but
More violent.
More than Alexa Bliss normally takes, since WWE likes to protect her. She took that backhand strike from Kyrie, and then I don't know. I think it was Bayley. She took a
She did a back body drop.
Or she took a back suplex or something. It was.
Yeah, it was a back body drop. Yeah. Back body
so
drop, yes. And it was those two spots that was all
that's all she really took.
So that aligns to my point, Jean Paul, that she's being protected, like you said. I think the one out of all of the women that Becky had like the most out of anything, because I saw her, she was dominant. She hit her moves, the forearm.
Oh yeah, Becky looked good.
The leg drop, all of that.
I think besides Nikki eating the pin, the two weakest looking women were Bayley and Sasha.
Yeah.
And also, one thing I noticed, and this might have been an issue of why the Survivor Series match was so bad, besides the fact that, there's a lot of factors into why I think that match wasn't as good, the main event of Survivor Series, but I noticed that Bayley and Becky have like no chemistry.
It doesn't seem like their styles match up.
There's lots of points where Becky goes for a move and Bayley's there like 2 seconds early. There was a time where she stuck her like upper body through the ropes, almost like I said, a second and a half, 2 seconds early, and then Becky first kicked her, and it's like whack-a-mole. Like she popped her freaking head out and was waiting to get whacked.
I could see that.
Yeah,
I could see that. Like Bayley is a great wrestler, but for some reason she and Becky have not find the chemistry.
They don't have the chemistry. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're right. Like you could see that there's like the timing issues. There's like I think she's waiting for the spot, and then that's 1 or 2 seconds that like he's like, okay, hit it on me. I'm waiting.
And we noticed that also in the Hell in the Cell with Becky and Sasha. So I don't know if this is a Becky thing, but I was gonna say, but Becky's had great matches like with Charlotte and Asuka, but that could just be that, I think Asuka is one of the greatest women in this division, and when Charlotte wants to go, Charlotte can go. So maybe it's Becky who's the issue. I don't know, but overall, this match, I like to see tag team matches like this where it's 4 women, and then they tag in their partner. Not you can tag in anybody. And I don't like that. I don't know how it works in like New Japan or other companies if they do these types of matches, but I don't like it. Maybe it's too hectic for the refs to keep track of 4 women at once, but overall, I think this match, it couldn't have really been any better than it was.
To me, I agree with you. I think they did what they were supposed to do. I am 100% sure that the Mexican crowd saw the same exact match that they just produced right now. And like you said, well, it's always been in WWE like this. It's always been, you can tag whoever. You can tag whoever. Maybe New Japan is a little different, but it's always been like this when it's multi-team matches. You can always tag whoever. Like you always said, the thing with the tag team championships, at least they didn't switch hands. I think it would have been the wrong decision for that to happen. And we still have the Kabuki Warriors that they're becoming dominant. They're becoming dominant. And finally, Kyrie and Asuka are being portrayed semi-decent after a while.
And speaking of that, and then we'll move on into the last match. They
Well,
announced.
let's mention something worth it that Monday Night Raw tomorrow, Charlotte is going to be.
You just read my mind. That's exactly what I was going to
Oh,
say.
I'm
That
sorry. Go
no,
ahead.
no,
Go ahead.
no, no. You're fine. That's what I mean. Great minds think alike. That's how we are here at Rope Break.
That's
We
what rope break is
we
always is.
Asuka and Kyrie are going to be going at Charlotte in a handicap match. Which the only way that this match can end for me that it doesn't bury the Kabuki Warriors is you need to have Becky come out and get involved in the match and have it end in a DQ. Because unless the Kabuki Warriors just beat down Charlotte, that's the only way this
That
match
would
can.
be that would be
Because
burying them
if
because it's
Charlotte
like
if Charlotte wins, then it's like no, there's no way.
and the one thing to me is like why they have this gap, why they keep pushing this program. It should be Asuka going against Becky, and then let's say for example Charlotte against Kyrie. But don't
Yeah,
have like a handicap. Don't have those kind of things. It's
yeah.
like
I don't know
almost to
what
make
they're
look
doing.
Charlotte
I
look
yeah.
like the most dominant out of the four of them.
I
When
feel like
clearly
they're trying to
Becky
just prolong the feud because they don't know what they're doing, so they're just coming up with any type of match between
I
these two
guess
women.
I would just much rather to see something a lot different than this because
Yeah.
okay, handicap match. You're gonna have both like the tag team champions going against one person. It should be no brainer. It should
Mm-hmm.
be is it like this? Should be like that you just like the Kabuki Warriors will win.
Yep.
And if they do, I don't want to see the green mist and then the pin because
Yeah.
she's overdoing the spot. So please give
Yeah.
me something different and like maybe Jean Paul said, have Becky and it ends up in a DQ. And then we got the main event.
Yep, the main event that everyone was waiting for, and then that they could not wait to see Bobby Lashley versus Rusev. I'm surprised this wasn't saved for WrestleMania, as hyped as we were for this.
Yeah, because the
So,
story is that hot,
yeah.
the story is that great. And well, Jean Paul wants to talk about this.
Well,
He told me this. Dana Brooke and Batista are having something a lot better, and we mentioned this in our video with the Undertaker and the Broken Skull session. You guys also are please watch that video. See, things that work organically work so much better for us, the fans, rather than this. They
oh yeah,
advertise last man standing match, Bobby Lashley against Rusev. Who wants to see that?
that's I don't know the writers behind Monday Night Raw. I don't know Paul Heyman, who the hell wants to see this, but we're forced to watch it. So,
Yes. Yeah, but we'll do it for all of you, family.
mhm.
So, Lashley and Lana come out, and they're
Yeah,
cutting a promo.
they come out and they pretty much Lana, all she's doing is talking about how hot her new boyfriend Bobby Lashley is and how great he is to her, and she's being overly annoying, saying things like "oh hashtag blessed hashtag," just being like really annoying, trying to get
Cringy. Very
yeah
cringy,
yeah
like you
yeah.
said.
She's
Very
she's
cringy.
really trying to get heat by being annoying and like you said cringy. She says that there will be no match because she said she had good news and bad news. And then that's what she says is the bad news. Haha, there'll be no match. She says Rusev Day is canceled, and then Lashley wins in a forfeit because Rusev doesn't come out.
Because Rusev is not
Yep.
able to be there because he has a restricting order again for Lana. So he's
And
not
then
able to be there.
who comes out at this point? Because we think the
KO.
show's gonna go off the air. We think that's it. It's done.
I thought I was going to say, like, get ready to record.
Yeah, we thought it was done, but then KO comes out. He says that there's no way after he started off the show so hot with Ric Flair that he's going to let this show go off the air like this. So then they get an impromptu match right away, and I thought this was a squash. I
I
thought,
thought it was going to be a squash.
yeah, because I'm thinking 8:05, they're going to give him a 5-minute run over. But I guess because it's on their network, they can go as long as they want.
As long as they have that liberty, and second
Yeah,
of all, I think because of these many issues that they were having with the outrages in the gaming systems, I
yeah,
think that they prolonged it a little bit more because once again they had to put the whole pay-per-view or the show, whatever you want to call it, they had to move it to YouTube so
yeah.
anybody could see it. So they had alone like want to say like maybe 10 minutes. They went around the ring, cannonball. They had suplexes. Even Lashley had to hit the spine buster. And
Mm.
then Kevin Owens hit the stunner. Kevin Owens, yeah, he hit the stunner on Lashley. Yeah, it was actually long for me for what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it went longer, like you said, than you thought because at the beginning he hits 2 super kicks, and then you think it's done.
Yeah, I thought
But
that.
he
I
but he
thought it was the
count
stunner was coming.
yeah, like you said, he countered the first stunner attempt, and then they're fighting on the outside, and then he hits the stunner, but Lana distracts the ref, and then where does that go? Yeah, they fight. They go to the top turnbuckle, and then he hits the senton and the frog splash for the 2 count, and then oh yeah, that's it. But Lana, she distracts the ref, and then the spine buster on KO for the 2 count, and then
Yes.
Lana gives Lashley the steel chair. That's
Yes,
right.
and
That's how it
Lashley
ends.
was
She gave him
about
the
to
steel
attack
chair.
Kevin Owens,
Yeah,
and
and
then
then
out of the crowd.
yep, Rusev, he comes out. So then this match ends in a DQ, which this is how when they kept countering the stunner and he wasn't able to put him away with the stunner. That was the first thing I thought. I thought, okay, Rusev is going to come out and break this up.
Yeah,
Because if you were going to end it with the stunner, he would have hit it and it would have been done.
yeah,
That's what I
yeah.
feel. So then Rusev comes out and he starts fighting Lashley. They take it into the crowd. Lana's screaming. And then they fight into the crowd. They bring it back ringside. As soon as they get to ringside, Lashley kind of takes over. And they're fighting back and forth again. They get on the ring, and probably like one of my favorite spot of this night after Rusev came back in, he hits the Van Daminator. My notes here I wrote the Van Damme
Well,
rushes.
like Jean Paul is a
Yeah,
huge fan of ECW, and he loves Rob Van Dam, RVD, and he did the Mashka kick and went
yeah,
onto the
onto the
chair, but
steel.
it looks exactly like the Van Daminator.
Yeah, he threw the chair at Lashley. He catches it, and he kicks him right
And
in the chair. And then Lashley, he eats that. Him and Lana run off. Rusev there. Rusev stands tall. Chance of Rusev
and
Day.
then he starts
So,
leaving also because
yeah,
the
yeah,
police
they
is
come in.
supposedly coming, and then the lights go up and the show closes down like that. So, guys, I feel like it was just a house show. This is the kind of stuff that
Yep.
you will see at a house show once again. I'm sorry that I have to reiterate that, but that's the kind of things you will see there. Kind of like more leeway, more freedom. You have like space to do this, play around with the crowd, do moves that probably you will normally do. And when it comes to the tag match, they will pretty much just replicate whatever they did Saturday night.
Yeah. And I'm going to give you my honest opinion on the whole show, as a whole. I think it was better than what they advertised. They showed the matches. This is what's going to be. I was shitting on it. I'm thinking, how are you going to call this Starrcade? These are like, these are some of these matches are bathroom break matches during an actual pay-per-view, and this is all we're going to see. But they made it more fun than I thought it would be, and for an hour of my time, it wasn't bad. Did it live up to the Starrcade name? Hell no, but it wasn't bad.
When it comes to
Yeah,
me, if you would have paid me $40, if you would have paid me, so listen up, if you
yeah,
would have paid
they're
me
paying you. Yeah.
$40, I would have gone and I would have pretend that I was enjoying myself. I would have
Mhm.
been like, "Yay, Rusev! Yay, Lashley!" I would have been like that. But for now, it was just an hour of my time. Is wrestling. I don't care. I will always watch. That's the passion of my life, and I'm always here with Jean Paul for you guys. So I really feel that like the next time, at least if they do start it, give us the whole paper, the whole show, because I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure there were more stuff coming up. Because I don't know if you noticed, but they had a steel cage on the top. So at some
Oh,
point, that
okay,
steel
yeah.
cage had to come down.
Well, that's probably the Fiend and Rey Mysterio.
Yes, probably they're repeating that
And
match.
like I said, it's because they're using Starrcade for a big house show, and they don't want to lose the house show money and the house, lose the actual house.
Yes.
Because if they would just show it on the network, people are already paying $10 a month. You're just going to sit at home in your underwear, snacks all over your belly, watching the fucking show. You're not going to
Yes.
leave. Why would
Oh
you
yeah.
go and drive there and pay money to go? So that's the thing. They're only going to show us a teaser. So next year we go, oh, maybe I'll want to go to Starrcade next year. Maybe I'll
Maybe,
make the trip. I
but at
feel
least
like that's what this is. This is just a tease because they're never going to make Starrcade a big pay-per-view because it was a WCW thing, and they'll never
and
respect anything that's
and you
not
know what
originally
they know
created
what
by
they
them.
do. You know what they do with everything that is like WCW produced. They absolutely have to hate it. They have to actually put it
It's
down
done.
because it went toe to toe to them. So
Mm.
well, Jean Paul, we gotta go. I think
Yep. I
this.
think
I
that
hope you guys
concludes.
enjoyed the show. Jean Paul, myself. Before we go off the air, we want to thank you for all the extreme support to
Yep.
all of
Thank
our
you,
videos this
everybody.
week. We've been putting a lot of content and you guys are really responding to that. So I'm very thankful for that. And don't forget to check us out. We have a Facebook, Road Break. We have the OG Road Break on Twitter. We have an Instagram now. We have it as the original Road Break and the same name we use under our YouTube channel. So please,
Mhm.
guys, Just subscribe, follow us on either one of our social media outlets. We love to hear your feedback. We love to talk to you. We have a lot of things coming up, and everything resets, and we go back to the same because we have Monday Night Raw tomorrow with John
Mhm.
Paul and myself, or maybe just John Paul. It doesn't matter because his opinions, he's a great guy. He knows what he's talking about. And I just put like the spice it up because, I got a Latino flavor. So, guys,
Mhm. The best
hope you
flavor.
guys have a great weekend. I'm not want to say one great weekend, a great start of your week. And the ones that live in our area, please be safe because there's going to be some snow. So, guys, under Jean Paul, myself.
Uh,